Okay, so for this deep dive, I want to take you back. Let's go to December 1st, 2009.
2009. Got it.
The world is listening to Lady Gaga. The Black Eyed Peas are they're everywhere. And we are deep, deep in the era of neon skinny jeans.
Oh, yeah.
And then, kind of out of nowhere, one of the biggest rock bands in the world, The Killers, decides to drop a Christmas single.
And not just any Christmas single. I mean, they aren't covering Silent Night or doing some, standard jingle bell rockabilly track.
Right. They release a track called Happy Birthday Guadalupe.
Yeah.
And on paper, this whole thing looks like a potential disaster.
It really does.
It's a collaboration between a Las Vegas synth rock stadium band, a mariachi group, and it's all tied into this massive global charity campaign. It sounds like something that should be a chaotic mess, frankly.
A total mess.
Like a fever dream you'd have after eating too much holiday food.
It does sound improbable, but I mean, that is exactly why we're talking about it. Because instead of being a train wreck, this track is, well, it's arguably a masterpiece of genre fusion. It's a cultural artifact that tells us so much about where music was in 2009, how charity and celebrity culture were intersecting, and how a band can create a tradition out of pure eccentricity.
So that's the mission today. We are unpacking the documentation surrounding Happy Birthday Guadalupe. We're going to look at the credits, the bizarre music video with a 90s icon, and, the reception. But I have to ask you, before we really get into the weeds, does a mariachi Christmas song by an indie band actually work? Or are we just looking at this through, rose-colored glasses?
That is the fundamental question, right? It's a high-wire act. You have the earnestness of a Christmas song, the technical complexity of mariachi instrumentation, and the swagger of Brandon Flowers.
Right.
If even one of those elements fails, the whole thing just becomes a parody. But I think the documentation shows they treated this with, deadly seriousness.
Well, let's start with the context. Because the first thing that struck me in the research is that this wasn't a random decision. The Killers didn't just wake up in 2009 and decide to go buy sombreros.
No, not
This was part of a sequence.
exactly. You have to look at the timeline. By 2009, the Killers had established a very specific, very strange holiday ritual. This was their fourth consecutive Christmas single.
Right. They started back in 2006.
With a great big sled.
Which is a great track, very indie rock. But then they followed it up with Don't Shoot Me Santa in 2007. And that's where I feel like the tone shifted a bit. That wasn't just a song. It was a narrative. It was dark comedy.
It absolutely was. And that really sets the stage for Guadalupe. By the time we get to 2009, the fans knew the drill.
You were right.
They weren't expecting a lullaby. They were expecting a weird cinematic story. The band had effectively trained their audience to expect the unexpected every December.
And just to, place us in the band's career timeline, this is the day and age era, right?
Oh, yeah. Correct. They had released the album Day and Age in 2008. So they are riding high on hits like Human and Spaceman.
Okay, so this is peak Killers.
This is their pop star phase. Lots of feathers, lots of synth, very, very polished. They aren't the gritty rock band from Hot Fuss anymore. They're global superstars.
Which brings us to the why. Why does a band at the peak of their global fame commit to writing, recording, and releasing a brand new song every single Christmas?
Right.
Most bands just, record a cover of Last Christmas and call it a day.
And this is where the story gets bigger than just the music. We have to talk about Product Red.
R-E-D, with the parentheses. Oh, I remember this vividly. You couldn't walk into a mall in the mid-2000s without seeing it.
It was a cultural juggernaut. Spearheaded by Bono and Bobby Shriver, the whole idea was to partner with massive brands Apple, Gap, Starbucks, Converse to create products where a portion of the profits went to the Global Fund to fight HIV/AIDS in Africa.
It was very corporate activism, wasn't it? It was that whole era of buy this red iPod and save the world.
It was, and it definitely drew some criticism for that exact reason. But the revenue it generated was undeniable.
Sure.
And the Killers wanted to be part of that conversation. They didn't just donate money quietly. They turned their entire Christmas output into a dedicated revenue stream for the Global Fund.
So Happy Birthday Guadalupe is technically a charity product.
It is. All proceeds went to RED. And that changes how we view the weirdness of the track.
Oh, so?
Well, if they were doing this just to sell albums for themselves, it might seem self-indulgent to go out and hire a mariachi band. But doing it for a global charity initiative, it gives them license to be experimental. It sort of signals, hey, we're doing this for a good cause, so we're going to have fun with it.
It's also a massive flex, isn't it? To say, We are going to release a song that is completely off genre, and it's still going to make money for charity because we are the Killers.
Absolutely. It's an ambition to be a U2-sized band.
Yeah.
U2 saves the world. The Killers wanted to show they could operate on that level too. But let's actually talk about the music itself, because this is where the rubber meets the road.
Or where the boots hit the sand, I guess.
Exactly.
The sound. This is what I was so skeptical about. The credits list. The Killers featuring Wild Light and Mariachi El Bronx. Now, I know the Killers, but who are Mariachi El Bronx?
Okay, this is a crucial detail. Mariachi El Bronx is actually the alter ego of a Los Angeles hardcore punk band called the Bronx.
Wait, really? A punk band?
Yes. They started doing mariachi music as like a side project, but they approached it with incredible technical respect. They weren't mocking the genre. They learned the instrumentation, the guitarron, the vihuela, the trumpet lines.
Wow.
So when you hear them on this track, you aren't hearing a studio session musician hired for an hour. You are hearing a band that understands the energy of punk and the structure of mariachi.
That makes so much more sense because the energy on the track is so high. It doesn't feel like easy listening. It drives.
Exactly. And look at the production credits. Produced by the Killers and Stuart Price.
Stuart Price is a legend. He did Madonna's Confessions on a Dance Floor. He did Day and Age.
He's the guy you call when you want things to sound shimmering and expensive.
Right. So think about the engineering challenge here. You have Stuart Price, who is famous for his wall of sound digital compression and sparkling synths.
And you have a traditional acoustic mariachi ensemble. Mixing those two things, getting the brass to cut through the synthesizers without sounding jarring is incredibly difficult.
I was listening to it with headphones, and there's that moment where the trumpets kick in, and instead of clashing with the electric guitars, they reinforce them.
They occupy the same sonic frequency as a lead guitar riff. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
The track is classified in the records as mariachi and indie rock, which are two genres that usually do not speak to each other at all. But here, the driving rhythm of the mariachi strumming, it just replaces the typical indie rock hi-hat pattern and propels the song forward.
And the runtime. I noticed it's 4 minutes and 33 seconds.
Which is an eternity in radio time.
It is. A standard pop song is 3 minutes, maybe 3:30. 4.5 minutes means they weren't trying to make a quick jingle. They wrote a saga.
And look at the songwriting credits. It's not just Brandon Flowers. It's Flowers, Dave Kuning, Mark Stormer, Ronnie Vannucci Jr. The whole band is credited.
So everyone had their fingerprints on this.
Which suggests a jam session approach. You can kind of hear it in the structure. The song shifts. It has breakdowns. It has that spoken word dialogue section.
Very theatrical.
It is. The male vocal duet credit is interesting, too, because the vocals trade off in a way that feels almost like a Broadway play set in Tijuana.
It's very dramatic. But the Killers have always been dramatic.
Yeah.
Brandon Flowers loves a bit of theater.
Oh, he does. And vocally, he completely commits. He isn't singing this with a wink and a nod. He's singing with the same passion he brings to Mr. Brightside. He treats the lyrics, which are about a cowboy pining for a lost love named Guadalupe, as if they are Shakespeare.
Let's talk about those lyrics for a second. Because usually Christmas songs are about, coming home, I'll be home for Christmas, driving home for Christmas. But this song is about looking for someone.
It's a song of absence. I am living in a dream, and I am open to the scheme. He's wandering. It fits into the blue Christmas tradition, the Elvis tradition of being lonely on the holiday.
Right.
But instead of sitting by a fire, he's wandering the desert.
Which perfectly segues into the music video. Because if the audio is a mix of Vegas glitz and mariachi tradition, the video is, well, it's Luke Perry in the dirt.
The visual component here is just vital. Released the same day, December 1st, and it stars the late Luke Perry.
And we have to contextualize Luke Perry in 2009. This is post-Beverly Hills 90210, but pre-Riverdale.
A long time pre-Riverdale.
He was in this interesting phase of his career where he was an icon, but kind of a nostalgic one.
He was a working actor for sure, but his casting here brings a very specific kind of baggage. When you see Luke Perry, you think of the cool, brooding loner.
Dylan McKay?
Exactly, Dylan McKay. So casting him as a cowboy, searching for his lost love, the audience instantly buys it. We don't need a backstory. We look at his face, we see the dust on his coat, and we go, okay, this guy is heartbroken.
And the setting? There is zero snow in this video.
None. Not a single flake, and that is a bold choice for a Christmas release.
It is.
Usually the visual language of Christmas is non-negotiable. Snow, red, green, pine trees. This video is brown, orange, yellow. It's dusty.
But somehow it still feels like a holiday video. Why do you think that is?
I think it connects to the nativity aspect of Christmas, the journey, the idea of traveling across a desert. But mostly it works because the music anchors it. The mariachi horns summon that landscape.
That's a great point.
If they had filmed Luke Perry walking through a snowy forest in Aspen while that trumpet line played, it would have been cognitively dissonant.
It would have been weird, yeah. The video respects the audio. They leaned into the whole Southwest aesthetic completely.
And remember, the Killers are from Las Vegas. They aren't from New York or London. Their version of winter is the high desert. So this feels authentic to their geography in a way that a sleigh ride song never would.
It's Americana, but a very specific slice of it. So, okay, we have the song, we have the video, we have the charity angle. Did anyone actually care? Because 2009 was a busy year for music. Did this thing chart?
This is where we have to manage our expectations and also understand the UK music market specifically.
Okay, hit me with the stats.
It peaked at number 110 on the UK singles chart.
Okay, number 110 to an American listener. That sounds like a failure.
It does.
If you're 110 on the Billboard Hot 100, you effectively don't exist.
Right. But the UK chart system is different, especially in December. The race for the Christmas #1 in the UK is a national sport. It is a blood sport.
Right. Everyone releases a song.
Every massive pop star, every X Factor winner, every novelty act is releasing a single that specific week to try and grab the top spot. The market is completely saturated.
So getting on the list at all is hard.
For a charity single released digitally, that is almost 5 minutes long and features a mariachi band. Cracking the top 200 is actually a sign of a very dedicated fan base.
That's a good point.
It means thousands of people specifically went out and bought this track in a week where they were being bombarded by the biggest marketing campaigns in the world.
It really shows the cult status of the Killers in the UK. They are almost bigger there than in the US sometimes.
Consistently. And the song had longevity. It wasn't just a one-week blip. It appeared in the 2015 film Christmas Eve. It became a staple on indie holiday playlists.
And the tradition itself didn't stop there.
No, they kept going. The next year they did Boots, which was much more somber. Then the Cowboys' Christmas Ball in 2011, which feels like a spiritual sequel to Guadalupe.
Well, the Cowboys' Christmas Ball is definitely in the same cinematic universe.
It is. But I would argue Guadalupe represents the golden era of this tradition. It was the moment where the budget, the band's fame, and the creativity all peaked perfectly. They had the money to get Luke Perry and Stuart Price, but they were still weird enough to want to do it.
Later on, the Christmas songs got a little, I don't want to say tired, but maybe less surprising.
They became more introspective, certainly. Guadalupe is just so joyous. It has a fiesta energy to it, despite the sad lyrics. It's a celebration.
So, zooming out, we're looking at this documentation from 2009. What is the takeaway for us today? Why does this matter beyond just being a fun piece of trivia?
I think it matters because it's a rejection of cynicism.
How so?
Well, think about it. It would have been so easy for the Killers to be cynical. Oh, we have to do a charity song Fine. Let's just record a quick acoustic cover, put it on iTunes, and take the tax write-off.
Right. Or just license Mr. Brightside for a commercial and donate the fee.
Exactly. But they didn't. They put actual artistic labor into this. They collaborated with artists from a totally different genre, Mariachi Bronx, and they elevated them. They wrote original music. They filmed a high-production video. They treated a charity Christmas single with the same artistic integrity as a lead single from an album.
That's true. It shows a respect for the audience, too. They didn't think, oh, the fans will buy anything. They thought, let's give them something worth buying.
And it highlights the elasticity of the indie rock label in the late 2000s. It was a time when bands were allowed to be playful. I feel like we've lost a bit of that. Everything is so curated now. This just feels like a bunch of friends with a lot of money having a great time in the studio.
It really does. And frankly, the song slaps.
Yeah.
The horns are incredible.
It is genuinely a catchy piece of composition. If you strip away the Christmas context, it's just a great song.
So we've unpacked the mariachi fusion, the REE campaign context, the Luke Perry Desert Saga, and the UK chart performance. It's a weird, wonderful package.
It is a unique cocktail that could only have existed in 2009.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you, the listener, with a thought. We talked a lot about the charity aspect, Product Red. And you made the point that the good cause gave them license to be experimental.
It shielded them from criticism, in a way.
Right. So my question is this. Does knowing a song is for charity change how we critique the art?
That's a heavy question.
I mean, if Guadalupe was just a commercial single released for profit, would we be as forgiving of the genre mashing? Would we call it cringy? Or would we give it a pass because we know the money bought medicine?
It really challenges us to separate the aesthetics from the ethics. Can a good act produce bad art? Or does the good act elevate the art?
Hmm.
In this case, I think the art stands on its own, but the charity certainly helps the narrative.
It's the halo effect. Something to mull over next time you stream a charity compilation. Thanks for taking this deep dive into the desert with me.
Always a pleasure to unpack the strange history of rock and roll.
And happy birthday, Guadalupe, wherever you are.